The rain poured heavily that night, and the roof of the small house leaked in several places. In the corner of the dimly lit room, a young man sat shivering, not just from the cold but from the fear of what tomorrow would bring. There was no food left in the house, no money to buy more, and no one to lend a hand. He looked at his hands, rough and calloused from odd jobs, and wondered if this was all his life would ever be. Every morning he walked miles to the city in search of work. Some days he'd carry heavy sacks at the market for a few coins. Other days he'd knock on doors offering to clean or fix things. But work was never guaranteed, and most nights he returned home with empty pockets and an even emptier stomach. The pain of hunger gnawed at him, but what hurt more was the look of disappointment in his younger sister's eyes when he couldn't bring home food. One day as he walked through the bustling city streets, he noticed a small notice pinned to a wall. It was an announcement for free computer classes being offered at a community center. At first he dismissed the idea. He didn't even have enough money for a proper meal. How could he think about learning computers? But something about it stuck in his mind. Maybe it was the idea of learning something new, or maybe it was the faint hope that it could lead to a better future. That evening he found himself standing outside the community center. The instructor was welcoming and encouraged him to join despite his doubts. Over the next few weeks he threw himself into learning. It wasn't easy. He had never used a computer before, and every task felt like climbing a mountain. But he refused to give up. He stayed late, practiced on borrowed equipment, and asked countless questions. Slowly he began to understand. As weeks turned into months, he gained confidence. He learned not only basic computer skills but also how to create websites and troubleshoot software issues. His determination caught the attention of his instructor, who recommended him for a small internship at a local company. It was unpaid, but it was an opportunity, and he seized it. At the company he worked harder than anyone else. He showed up early, stayed late, and absorbed every piece of knowledge he could. His enthusiasm didn't go unnoticed. One day the manager called him into the office and offered him a paid position. It wasn't much, but it was the first real paycheck he had ever earned. With his first salary he bought groceries and fixed the leaking roof at home. The smile on his sister's face that evening made every struggle worth it. But he didn't stop there. He continued to improve his skills, taking online courses and working on freelance projects. Each step brought him closer to his dream of building a better life. Years passed and his efforts paid off. He launched his own small tech company, providing services to local businesses. The company grew steadily, and so did his reputation. Soon he was hiring others, giving opportunities to people who, like him, had once struggled to find a way out of poverty. One day he was invited to speak at a local school. Standing on stage, he looked at the eager faces in the audience and shared his story. He told them about the cold nights, the hunger, and the relentless fear of failure. But he also spoke about hope, determination, and the power of taking small steps toward a big dream. Your circumstances do not define you, he said. What defines you is how you rise above them. Never stop believing that you can change your story. The applause was thunderous, but what mattered most to him was the knowledge that his journey might inspire someone else to take their first step. From a boy with nothing to a man who created opportunities for others, his story became proof that success is not about where you start, but where you're willing to go.